All right, so what we're going to do today with angles of triangles is you've got the triangle angle sum theorem that you learned, and you've got the exterior angle theorem. I'm going to give you a triangle, and I'm going to give you some information, and I'm going to tell you something to find. You have to use all of the information you know to find whatever it is I gave you. So let's quickly review the triangle angle sum theorem. That tells you that the measure of the angles inside a triangle is always 180 degrees. So if you take angle A, you add angle B, and you add angle C, it's going to equal 180 degrees. So any triangle I have, if I know two of the angles, I can take those away from 180 and find the missing angle. The other theorem that we learned is called the exterior angles theorem. And that means you got an exterior angle formed by extending one or more of the sides here. An exterior angle is always equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So angle 1 is exterior. That equals the sum, so that means I'm going to add up the measure of angle 2 and the measure of angle 3. So the sum of the two non-adjacent, which means the angle that's not touching the exterior angle. Okay, so what you're going to have is kind of a unique figure, okay? So these first 6 questions are just numbers, no algebra. You are going to look for triangles where you know 2 of the angle measures, or you're going to look for linear pairs where a straight line is formed by 2 angles. When I look at this, I've really got one big triangle that's broken up into a smaller triangle and an even smaller triangle. Now, I know this is 12, but right now I don't know angles 2 or 3, so I can't start there. When I look at this angle, what does this mean, this little box? 90 degrees. Now, here's a tip. Don't forget it is actually 90 degrees. I write the 90 there to remind me to take it out. All right, so if I'm going to find angle 1, the 90-degree angle and 43, they all make a triangle, and a triangle has how many degrees? 180. So if I want to find angle 1, I'm going to do 180 minus 90 minus 43. And that's going to give me 47 degrees. So angle 1 is 47 degrees. Okay? Angle 1 is 47. This little one is 12. That still tells me nothing about these two. Look for a triangle that has 2 out of 3 angles, and look for straight lines. This is a straight line. What does a straight line make? Makes 180. If the straight line is 180, but that angle takes up 43, 180 minus 43 is 137 degrees for angle 2. Now, my advice to you is draw and write on the figure. Because if you just write your answer here and you're trying to keep in mind where you got all your numbers, you're going to get confused. The only thing left for me to find is angle 3. Angle 3 is part of a triangle with 137 and 12. What do these 3 angles make? A triangle, which is how many degrees? 180. So, how do I find out what's left over for angle 3? Subtract. So I'm going to take 180 for the whole thing, minus the 137 minus the 12, and I did not type correctly. 180 minus 137 minus 12, and I get 31 degrees left over, thank you, friend, for that triangle. So you start out with these figures. You're looking for straight lines that add up to be 180 degrees, and you're looking for triangles where you know 2 of the 3 angles. Let's move on to number 2. So let's look at number 2. I'm supposed to find the measure of angle 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to tell me the degrees. Well, let's figure out what we definitely know. Okay. I know this is 68. This is 61. What is that? 90. Okay. If it helps you, you can write 90 in there. If it helps you and you write it where you can read it, because you can't even read what I wrote. All right. Now, I've got to figure out if I have almost completed triangles. if I have straight lines, or if I have what would be called vertical angles. Could you tell me how to find angle 1? And then take away from 180, the whole thing. So you take that 180 degrees for this triangle. You minus 61, you minus 68. That leaves you with 51 degrees. Now, I didn't have to start out by finding the measured angle 1. The reason I personally started there was I knew 2 of the 3 angles. So if I know 2 of the 3, I can just take that away from 180. All right. Is there any other angle that you can now tell me? 2. What is 2? Why? They're vertical angles, and vertical angles are the same. All right. So 61 plus 90 uses up 151. So 180 minus the 151 gives us 29 degrees for angle 3. Now, you can check your work, okay? So add these up. 90 plus 29 plus 61. That's a triangle. It has to equal 180. Add these up. 51 plus 61 plus 68. They have to equal 180. If they don't, something's wrong. Now, the reason I didn't say you're wrong, your numbers might be right, but if you type them wrong when you're checking, that's what's wrong, okay? All right. Number 3 is a bit more tricky for us because it brings back parallel lines, okay? Line L is parallel to line M, so I'm going to draw the parallel symbols. So when I have line L and line M here, I end up with 2 parallel lines, 2 transversals. This is a transversal, so I'm going to call that my pink transversal. This is a transversal because remember, a transversal intersects 2 or more lines, and in this case, it's 2 or more parallel lines. Now, bring that back. Look at your pink transversal. Remember when we zigzagged? If I go from 73, I'm going to zigzag. I'm going to jump that pink transversal. Where am I going to go to? I got to jump up to 1. That's my zigzag. So angle 1 is 73 degrees because they are alternate interior angles. Now go with what else I told you. I told you 49 degrees. 49 degrees is on the yellow transversal. You can zigzag and jump across that yellow transversal. If you jump across and down, where are you going to end up at? Angle 4. So that's 49 degrees. So angle 4 is 49 degrees. All right. You still need to find 2, 3, and 5. Well, here's angle 3. Angle 3 and 73, what do they make? What do they make? Talk to me. 180. Thank you, friend. And so in order to get angle 3, I'm going to do 180 minus 73. Let me grab my calculator. 180 minus 73 gives me 107 degrees. Okay. All right. Look at angle 5. Angle 5 is a linear pair to 4, which is 49. These two make a straight line, which is how many? 180. So 180, take away the 49, my friend tells me is 176. Perfect, friend. That's why I put them on colored paper. I'll find it. Oh, let's see. Oh, yes, my friend. You better go real quick. So, you're going to use everything you've got. You had parallel lines. That's how you got that 73 alternate interior, 73, 49 alternate interior. From there, I started looking for straight lines because those add to be 180. Straight line, these add to be 180. And then I can look for a triangle where I know 2 of the angles. I can find the third one. All right, so let's look at this next one here. All right, so what I encourage you to do every time is to just step back, look at what you've got. You have 2 triangles. I know that this is 75, that's 41. I'm looking for 1, 2, and 3. That's 54, and that is 90 degrees, okay? So I could start by finding either 1 or 3. The only thing I can't start with is 2. 2 is part of a straight line with angle 1 and this 90, but you don't know it. To prove to you you don't have to start with angle 1, I want you to start with angle 3. Angle 3 is inside of a right triangle, and we know 2 of the angles. How are you going to find angle 3 right there? What are you going to do? You're going to take away those 2 angles. You're going to do 180 minus 90 minus 54, and I have that I should get 36 degrees. Now, if you think I should get something different, you tell me. All right. I still can't find angle 2, but I can find angle 1. Angle 1 is part of a triangle where I know 2 angles. So to get angle 1, I'm going to do 180 minus 41 minus 75. And what do we get? I had 64, but if you think I'm wrong, you tell me. Okay. Now, I want to know angle 2. Okay. Truthfully, what I'd probably do to you on a test is I wouldn't even tell you I wanted 1 and 3. I'd just tell you to find me angle 2 because you still got to find at least one of those angles. All right. So number 2 right here. Angle 2 is part of a straight line. And what does a straight line make? 180. So you take away the 64, you take away the 90, and I have that my calculator gave me 26 degrees for angle 2. All right, so let's look at number 5. Now, number 5, when you've got all these lines, cutting through lines, that kind of freaks you out. This is a right angle, so what does that equal? 90. Here's what happened, though. That right angle is 90. Well, this side is 52. Angle 6 is the other side. If this whole thing is 90, what are you going to do with 52 to find out what's left over? There you go. So 90 minus 52 I have is 38. So angle 6 is 38 degrees. Nobody said you got to go in order, okay? In fact, you cannot go in 1, 2, 3, 4 order here. All right? Look at this triangle I'm working with right here. Try to mentally ignore everything else. In this triangle that I'm tracing, this angle is 38. This angle is 86. I need to know this portion of the right angle. How will I find angle 5? And minus 86. So 180 minus the 38 minus the 86, what does that give us? I had 56 degrees, but I'm relying on y'all to double check me because y'all are the first ones to see my answer key here. All right. So based on that information, what would you like to find next? If you know this is a right angle and you know this side is 56, what could you find? Angle 1. How are you going to find angle 1? It's a right angle, which is 90. Take away the 56, and what's that leave you with? 34. And I got to write real tiny in here. All right. I know angle 1 is 34. It makes a triangle with angles 2 and 3. But right now, I can't find either of these based on angle 1. I don't know enough information. So I got to go find something else. Okay. Could you find angle 3 for me right now? Angle 3 is part of a triangle with 52 and how much? 90. How are you going to find angle 3 right here? Minus 90 minus 52, which when you said 90 minus 52, you're right. Because if you take off the 90, you got 90 left over. So what did you get? My friend tells me 38 degrees. I trust, but you verify. All right. All along, you actually had enough information to find angle 4. Angle 4 makes a straight line with, is that 86? Okay. So it makes a straight line with 86, and how many degrees is a straight line? 180. So 180, well, it helps if you turn your calculator on. 180 minus the 86 gives us 94 over here degrees for angle 4. Now you got 2 different ways to look at angle 2. Angle 2 is part of a right angle where you've already used up 38 degrees. Angle 2 is part of a triangle where you take away 34 and you take away 94. So I did 180 degrees for the triangle minus 34 minus 94 because I was so used to thinking about triangles. And that gave me 52 degrees, like my friend said. You got different numbers. Okay, let me come look at your numbers. All right, my sweet friends. So everybody's looking right here. You're super focused, right? Okay. Segment, or yeah, BC bisects angle ACD. Okay, now we're taking it back weeks ago. If I say bisect, what does that mean? Bi means to cut it into two equal pieces. So you got to figure out which angle. ACD is this right angle. So if I cut that in half, what is half of 90? 90 divided by 2 gives you 45. So angle 2 is 45 degrees, angle 3 is 45 degrees. So immediately, by knowing that fact and understanding what it meant, you got two of the answers. Now, what I need you to do is I need you to figure out angle 1 and angle 4. Angle 1 is in triangle ABC. Angle 4 is part of BCD. And what do all the interior angles of a triangle add up to be? 180. So figure out those two for me. All right, my sweet friends. So tell me, you're paying attention to me. You're super locked in right here. How did you find the measure of angle 1? 180 minus 48 minus 45, my friend says. And what did that give you? 87 degrees left over. You should be paying attention to me and only me. How did you find angle 4? All right, minus 83 minus 45, my friend told me. And what did that give you? 52 degrees. Now, here's a tip I'm going to give you. You see how every time I found an answer, I wrote it in my figure? I didn't forget what I wrote, or what I got, because I wrote it down. I want to see you draw on your figure. And of course, I want you to write it right here because honestly, that helps me grade it. That lets me see it faster. But you need to write it in your figure so you can see what you're doing. Okay? So, some of your questions will have just numbers. The rest of the notes today get you to use algebra and find x, and then possibly plug in to find some angles. All right, so let's look at number 11. You're going to solve for x, and then you're going to find the measure of angle D, E, and F. All right. Angle D, angle E, and angle F. Are those angles inside the triangle or exterior, outside? Inside. Anytime you have three angles inside the triangle, what does the triangle sum theorem tell us? That if we add them up, equals 180. So you are quite literally about to add these up to equal 180. So I'm going to do it alphabetical order. I'm going to take 5x minus 2. I'm going to try to change colors here so it stands out. I'm going to add that to E, which is 9x plus 3. I'm going to add that to 11x minus 21, and then that is going to equal 180 degrees because those are all inside the triangle. And the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180. So now, I'm going to combine like terms. So I got 5 plus 9 plus 11, which I have as 25x. And honestly, in my calculator, I typed negative 2 plus 3 minus 21, and my calculator gave me negative 20, and that equals 180. So I want x by itself. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Inverses cancel. So I got 25x equals 200, and then I have to divide by 25 to find out that my x equals 8. So I'm going to write x equals 8 right here. Now, truthfully, on a quiz or a test, I probably wouldn't tell you to find all three measures. I'm going to tell you to find one of them, and you got to know which one I'm talking about. Okay? So, first one we're going to find is angle D. You got to figure out which one's angle D. Well, that's angle D. And what do you do with x? Plug it in. So 5 times x, which you just found out is 8, minus 2. A little bit slower? Oh, sure, friend. Absolutely. I get on a roll and I... All right. Which part? Where did I lose you? All right, let me go backwards. All right, so why did I add these up? Because they all add to equal 180, so then I added my like terms. So I did 5, 9, 11, I did 25. And then I did -2, 3, and 21, I got -20. So what I'm doing here is just solving for x like y'all are super good at. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides, and I got 25x equals 200. So now I divided by 25, and that's where I got x equals 8. So now that I know x equals 8, I've got to go back and I've got to find the measure of this angle. So since the angle was 5x minus 2, I'm going to replace the x with 8. And so I did 5 times x minus 2. So that would be 38 degrees. So angle D is 38 degrees. All right. If I asked you to find angle E, here's angle E. Angle E is 9 times x plus 3. And you used to not know x, but now you do. What is x equal to? Nope, not 180. 8. All right, and so then you type in your calculator. 9 times 8 plus 3, and that gives us 75, my friend says. All right, now there's two ways we could find angle F. To me, the easiest way, since I know it's 11x minus 21, is to take 11 times x, which is 8, minus 21. Or you could do 180 minus 38 minus 75, but either way, you should get 67 degrees. All right. All right, so I want you to look at number 12. I need you to find eventually all of these angles, but before you do that, you got to find x, okay? Look at where your x's are located. Is 5x minus 27 inside or outside of the triangle? Interior or exterior? Talk to me. It's inside, so it's interior. 7x minus 32 is pointing inside to angle K. That's interior. Where is 9x minus 8 located? Outside. As soon as you said that's outside, this is exterior angle. Okay? No, it's recording. It's blinking. As long as it's blinking, it's going. All right, thank you though for checking, because sometimes I forget. All right, so as soon as you see its exterior angle, you say, ooh, exterior angle theorem, which says exterior angle equals the sum of the two non-adjacent. So this angle, 9x minus 8 equals the sum of 7x minus 32 plus 5x minus 27. Okay? Why did I do that? Because I have an exterior angle. So now I'm going to solve. So I've got 9x minus 8, which equals, simplify this side. 7 plus 5 is 12x. Negative 32 and negative 27 more gave me a negative 59. Now, I'm going to move variables to one side, constants on the other. You can move the variables to either the left or the right as long as you move the constants to the opposite side. I'm going to do variables to the left. So I'm going to minus 12x. Inverses cancel. I'm going to add 8 because constants cancel. So that gives me 9 minus 12, which is a negative 3x. Negative 59 plus 8 equals a negative 51. I have to divide by negative 3, and so I find out x equals 17. Okay. I'm going to plug back in to find these angles. Here's the tricky part. I give you 3 letters. That is the way that I have to name the angle so you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So, angle JKL. All right, so really quick, I'm about to try to color code this. You don't have to do this every time. This is me trying to help you find your angles. Okay? Angle JKL. JKL is going to follow that path. JKL. That's this angle. Okay? You're paying attention to me and nothing and no one else. Okay? So, JKL is 7x minus 32. So, what are you going to do now that you know x? Talk to me. It's way more fun when you talk to me. You plug in x equals 17. Okay? So, now, Type that in your calculator because you got to double check my math, make sure I'm right. What did you get for this green angle here? I had 87, but I need you to check me, make sure I'm good. Okay, my friend tells me I got 87 degrees. All right, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to go find the measure of angle KJL. K to J to L, that's this angle. Okay, so the only reason I'm color coding is so that they stand out so you know which one I'm finding. So to find KJL, I do 5 times x, which I now know is 17 minus 27. Type that in, see what we get. My friends are telling me 58. I trust them, but you verify. Okay. It's these two that I worry about. Okay. This angle right here. This 9x minus 8. That is KLM. You're going to find that by doing 9 times 17 minus 8. Tell me what you got. My friend's telling me 145. I trust her, but you verify because we want to make sure we're right. So 145. Now, the only angle that I have not done yet is KLJ. K to L to J. There's nothing for you to plug into. What do you know about that pink angle? So, equals 180 with what? Two things, actually. You could either say it's a straight line, which equals 180 with 145, or it's inside the triangle, so 180 minus this minus this. Either way, it's going to be how much? 35, my girl says. What I did, honestly, I looked for straight lines. I did 180 minus that 145, and that's where I got 35 degrees. If I'm being honest, the problem that my students have is not with plugging back in and finding the measures. It's distinguishing between these two. Am I talking about this side or that side? The 3 letters are not meant to be there to confuse you. It's meant to be kind of like telling you where to walk. You start at K, you walk to L, you walk to J, and then that means you're looking at the path that you went. That's how you know what to do. Now, if highlighting like this helps you, absolutely. You find you 4 different colored pencils or crayons or highlighters, and you do that. All right, so all of these problems are going to be all mixed up. When you approach number 13, you need to look at your angles. Look at what I told you. 4x minus 22, is that an interior or exterior angle? Inside or outside? Inside, interior. All right, 10x minus 4, is that interior or exterior? Interior is inside. X plus 11, is that interior or exterior? It's inside, so it's interior. That means this is triangle sum. Okay? Thanks, friend. So, it's all 3 angles are inside the triangle. What do you know about all 3 angles of any triangle you draw ever? Pay attention right here, friends. What do they add up to be? All 3 interior angles add up to be 180. So, take this angle. So, 4x minus 22 plus 10x minus 4 plus x plus 11. And those equal 180 degrees. Now, ultimately, I want you to tell me the measure of angle P, Q, and R. But angle P, angle Q, and angle R all have an x in them. So I need to know x first. So I'm going to simplify and solve for x. So I've got 4 x's, 10x, and 1x, which gives me 15x. Okay? And then if I'm being totally honest with you, I type those numbers in my calculator, just like I would type negative 22 minus 4 plus 11. And I got negative 15, which equals 180. So I want x by itself. I'm going to add 15 to both sides. Inverses cancel. You get 15x equals 195. Now, I have 15 times x. How do I undo times 15? Divide. So now help me out. Remember, you're checking my work. What do you get when you do 195 divided by 15? My friend's telling me 13. I trust, but you verify, because what's going to happen to us if our x is wrong? When we plug in a wrong number, we're going to get a whole bunch of wrong answers. All right, so now, measure of angle P. I need you to find the measure of angle. All right, so I'm going to highlight a little bit again. All right, only because I'm trying to make it stand out. Angle P, that's a one letter, that's the vertex. That's this angle right here. And that angle's measure is 10x minus 4, so that will be 10 times x, which we now know is 13 minus 4. And help me out, what is 10 times 13 minus 4? 126, my girl confirms. All right, so that's angle P. But what if I ask you to find angle Q? So angle Q, I'm going to color that yellow while I still can, because I think this one's running out. Angle Q is right here. Angle Q is 4 times x, which is 13 minus 22. So you calculate that. All right, so we're calculating 4 times 13 minus 22, and what's that give y'all? My girl says 30. That's what I had. All right, and then last but not least, I need to find the measure of angle R. Here's angle R. Angle R is x plus 11, which is 13 plus 11, and that gives us how much? 13 plus 11 should give us 24 degrees. All right, the worst part about this is trying to figure out, do you do the exterior angle theorem where the exterior angle equals the sum of the two non-adjacent, or do you add them all up and equal to 180? The giveaway is going to be, do you have an exterior angle? Look at number 14. Are these angles that I gave you, is any one of those an exterior angle? So the 13x, the 4x, or the 18x, is any one of those an exterior angle? Any one of them outside the triangle? The 18x is my exterior angle. So I'm going to put me a note. This is an exterior angle. I got to use exterior angle theorem, which says this exterior angle, 18x minus 15, equals the sum of these two. Now, I'm going to write it out so that when you look at your notes, you know where it came from. But if I'm being honest and I'm working this, I'm going to say the exterior angle, 18x minus 15, equals the sum of these two. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. So 13x plus 4x gives me a total of 17x. And negative 11 plus 1 is negative 10. So that then I can solve. I'm going to minus 17x. Inverses cancel. Inverse of negative 15 is to add 15. Inverses cancel. X equals 5. Okay, so my x is 5. All right, I'm going to color code again, okay? So I'm going to take my yellow. My yellow is going to be angle CAB. CAB. That would be this angle right here. So that angle is 13x, which I now know is 5, minus 11. What is 13 times 5 minus 11 going to give us? It should give you 54 degrees. So you're paying very close attention. All right. My next angle I'm going to be asked about is angle ABC. That's this angle. ABC is 4x plus 1. So 4 times x, which is 5, plus 1 is going to give you 21 degrees. Okay, so I used pink for that guy. All right, now here's the two tricky ones. All right. Well, if you look at what I just asked you for, I asked you for ACB, and I don't know what I was typing there because that don't make sense. These two, if these two had been switched, that would make sense. All right, so I need to fix my notes. My notes are all messed up. So let's do this. Let me think. A. I'm going to change this one to be A, B, D. And this one to be D, B, C. So that's my bad. I typed something different. I am looking at the wrong thing. Y'all, I am a goober. I don't know. I'm looking here and doing this one. I'm special. You have to forgive me. You have to forgive me. Oh, my brain is not working. So I need measure of angle ACB. And I was right the first time. I was looking at these letters on this angle and it wasn't working. That's my bad. Okay, sorry. I love you, I swear. All right. Now I'm going to do ACB. So ACB is this angle right here. Based on what you know right now, how could you help me find my green angle? How would you find this green angle if you know this is 54 and this is 21? Very good. 180 minus 54 minus 21, and that gives you 105 degrees. All right, and then my final angle, which I thought I was wrong, but I personally was looking at the wrong figure, is DCB. That's this exterior angle. Now, there's two ways you could find this angle. This angle equals the sum of those two, okay? If you add those up, you will get 75. Easiest way is to plug it in. 18 times 5 minus 15, which gives you 75 degrees. Now that I got my brain working again, let's try 15. Before I try to figure anything out, remember what I told you? I told you to look to see if you have the measure of an exterior angle. If you have an exterior angle, then you're going to use exterior angle theorem. Look at that figure in number 15. Do you have an exterior angle? Do you have an angle that's on the outside of your triangle? You do. So immediately, exterior angle. That exterior angle theorem, if you need to look back at it, says the exterior angle equals the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So, exterior angle, 17x minus 23 equals the sum of these two. And at first you panic because you say, I only know one, but you actually know the other one. How do you know A? And what is A? It sure is. 7x plus 2. How do you know it's 7x plus 2? I didn't tell you that, or did I? I told you when I gave you the congruent marks. They're the same. That's exactly right. So, exterior angle equals the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So, let's solve. So, 17x minus 23. 7 and 7 is 14x plus 4. Okay. I'm going to get x's on the left, variables on the left, constants on the right. So I'm going to minus 14x, inverses cancel. I'm going to add 23, inverses cancel. So 17 minus 14 is 3x, and 4 plus 23 is 27, so that when I divide by 3, what is your x value? 9. So x is 9, okay? Some of your questions on this test will simply say, find x, solve for the value of x. What is the value of x? And you stop right there. But other questions are going to say, what is the measure of, I don't know, angle BAD? So you got to figure out, where is angle BAD? When I tell you 3 letters, that's like me telling you what path to walk. You go to B first, you go to A, and then you go to D. That's this path right here. So that path is 7x plus 2, and 7 times x, which is 9, plus 2, what does that give you? I'm pretty sure it gives me 65, but you check my math because I could have. Lord knows, y'all saw I got all kind of things messed up. So 65 degrees. Then I asked you to find the measure of angle DBC. Okay? D, walk to B, walk to C. That's this angle. And so 17 times x, which is 9, minus 23, I had 130. That's what my friend had, so I'm assuming we're right. All right, so angles 16 and 17, people panic because I told you to find x and y, okay? You cannot use an x and a y in the same equation at the same time, okay? So for instance, these three angles, I agree that they do add up to be 180, but you can't start there because you would have a y and an x and you can't solve with two of the same variables, okay? What I've got to do is I've got to look for the relationship between the same variables. This angle is 11x minus 9. Based on the figure, what else do you know? You know this one is 11x minus 9, okay? So look at this triangle. You know all three angles of this triangle, even though some of them are expressions, and tell me what you know about all three angles of a triangle. Come on, talk to me. I know you know. They add up to be how much? 180. Yes, 180. Okay, so they add up to be 180. If you are distracted by anything or anyone else and you are not currently listening and participating and talking to me, you are doing the wrong thing. All right, so let's solve for x. So I got 6x plus 11x, which gave me 17x. Negative 2 minus 9 plus 72, I got a positive 61 equals 180. So then I minus 61 because I'm solving, inverses cancel. 17x equals 119. I divide by 17. And 119 divided by 17, I got x equals 7. Okay? That's what my friends told me they got. Now, if I know x is 7, I could plug that in. Now you say, where do I plug it in? You could plug it in everywhere there was an x, or you could focus only on what matters now. Now I need a y. The y is in this angle, which is part of this triangle, okay? So I'm going to focus my attention on just this triangle. So I started out with this one because that's where all my x's could be. 30 plus 5y minus 8 plus 11x minus 9 equals 180. And you're thinking, whoa, 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 lady. You told me I couldn't do that. You can't have an x. But now you know what x is. What is x? 7. Now if you do 11 times 7 minus 9, you know that this angle is 68 degrees. So 5y minus 8 plus 30 plus 68 equals 180. All right, so I'm going to simplify. I've got 5y plus 90 equals 180. So I minus 90 from both sides. And 180 minus 90 is 90. So that when I divide by 5, y equals 18. All right, last problem on these notes. As soon as I looked at this, what did you notice as soon as you looked at it? There's 4 of them. I got an x and a y. I got a number on the outside. I've got an exterior angle. So this is going to use exterior angles theorem. Okay? The exterior angle theorem says that this exterior angle, 9x plus 4, equals the sum of these two. So 4x minus 7 plus 86. So 9x plus 4, a lot of you are really good at this, and you would have said, oh, I can just add these and get 4x plus 79. That's fine. I write it out so you can see where I get it from. Okay, so then I keep solving. I minus 4x from both sides. Inverses cancel. I minus 4 from both sides because inverses cancel. 9 minus 4 is 5x, and 79 minus 4 is 75, so that when I divide by 5, my x equals 15. All right, we know x. Now I need to find y. Here's y. Y is in this angle right here, okay? 7y minus 1 has two different relationships. 7y minus 1 plus this angle add up to equal 180. You could use that. 7y minus 1 and 9x plus 4, what do they make? They make 180. They make a straight line. I personally am a big fan of the straight lines because that's less stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I can't use an x and a y. I don't have to use x anymore because now I know x is 15. So 9 times 15 plus 4 gives me 139 degrees. So 7y minus 1 plus that 139, together they make a straight line of 180. So 7y, 139 minus 1 is 138, which equals 180. I'm going to subtract 138. I get 7y equals 42. And then I have to undo times 7 by dividing by 7. And so y now equals 6. So you're going to take several pieces of information you know, like right angles are 90 degrees, linear pairs, anything that makes a straight line adds up to be 180 degrees. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Vertical angles are equal to each other, and the one that is the newest and sometimes most difficult is exterior angle equals the sum of the non-adjacent interior angles. So when you see a triangle, you need to figure out, what do I know and how can I use that?